Hello, Steve Fletcher here, and welcome to the April 2024 edition of Vinyl Corner. This is the monthly-ish video vlog, podcasty kind of thing. Is it a podcast if it's only on video? I don't know. I don't know what the podcast rules are. Anyway, not to worry. Yeah, this is my kind of monthly dive into all my world of vinyl. I am a colossal vinyl nerd. I love myself a box set. It is a disease that I do not wish to be cured from, which is probably true to be said for most vinyl nerds out there. I'm a bit sad this month because I haven't been able to actually play any vinyl. Because my deck that I've got, I'll stick you a picture of it. My deck that I've got, it was a custom-built deck by a company in Chesterfield. They don't actually exist anymore. And this is where the problem has come in, because it's the drive belt for my vinyl has worn itself to the point where it's just that little bit too stretched. So all my vinyls sound like this. I've tried contacting the guy who used to run the company to say, look, this is what's happened. Obviously, you're not in business anymore, but where can I get a replacement? I've not heard anything. I'm trying to find one that's the right size on the internet. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So hopefully by next month, it'll be not be a problem anymore, but it is a problem for me today. But there we go. But I'm still, because I'm an obsessive person, I'm still purchasing vinyl. Now, I've bought a couple of vintage old vinyls, and what I mean by that is sort of back in the day. I've bought a couple of new pressings, and also we've got to the letter M for my vinyl pull. As well as that, April is Record Store Day. So I've made at least one Record Store Day purchase. I was hoping to make another one. I was hoping to get the Queen Hot Space pink vinyl pressing, but by the time I got to my record shop, they'd all gone. But I did buy one Record Store Day release, and because it's Record Store Day month, I thought I would throw in all the purchases, show you that all the previous Record Store Day purchases that I've made. So there we go. So to crack on, let's get on with the vintage purchases that I've made. Now, I spend a lot of time in charity shops. This shirt, probably these jeans, in fact, pretty much everything, most of these bangles. I do a lot of charity shop shopping. That's just the kind of socialist that I am. And so I don't often get very high hopes in charity shop vinyl buckets, because usually you get, I don't know, like stuff that you just can't imagine that they've ever put onto vinyl. You get things like, Hammond organ arrangements of everyone's favourite Swiss nun charity band performing the lift music classics of Burt Bacharach. Stuff like really random, weird things. So stuff that you just generally don't particularly want. I can't imagine anybody would ever have wanted. But anyway, occasionally you do stumble across a charity shop that caters for sort of newer, more modern, let's say, vinyl releases. And so these two are what I have bought. Now, I am a humongous Genesis fan. Now, that being said, when I say I'm a Genesis fan, I'm talking sort of massive Genesis fan up to and including when Steve Hackett was in the band. So that whole period from, Fox Nursery Crime through that whole period, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, it's Peter Gabriel leaving, but then you've got, Trick of the Tail, Wind and Wuthering, that classic lineup period. Following that, and this is not to say that they didn't do some good songs, following that, and when they became a trio, they did, there's no two ways about it, they I wouldn't say they progressed, they regressed, I would say, from writing, complicated, not complicated, but interesting, what I would consider to be interesting music, into the realms of the pop music. Now, I do love me a good pop song. But there's something about Genesis when they started doing that pop stuff because they'd already done this wildly amazing progressive stuff, it just doesn't hit my ears properly, because you're like, well, really, that's what you're capable of? And it kind of, I know it's a very musically snobby attitude to have, I accept that, but it's the way it is with Genesis, and it's kind of like, yeah, you did sort of sell your soul for, you know, the hits. So we got Abacab. I've pretty much got all of the Genesis albums now, and I think this was pretty much the last one. I don't have the final album, Station to Station. I've yet to see that on vinyl, but if I do spot it, I think because that was sort of a mid-90s, I think we might be in the period with Station to Station where vinyl had gone. So it might be, you know, you have to be really, really lucky or get a brand new version of that, and I don't know that I would get a brand new version of that. I'm not spending 35, 40 quid on an album that I'm just not ever going to listen to. But there we go. So yeah, Abacab. I can't really, looking at it, Abacab, No Reply at All, Me and Sarah Jane, Keep It Dark, Dodo Lurker, Who Done It, Man on the Corner, Like It or Not, Another Record. I can't say I know any of those songs. So, you know, I can't really tell you anything about that other than I have now bought it. Now, what I just said about pop, I am a lover of a brilliantly well-written, well-crafted piece of pop music. I'm not going to, you know, tell a lie about pop music being amazing. ABBA are a fantastic pop group. Bee Gees are one of my favourite all-time pop groups. You know, Simply Red. I make no apologies for the fact that I listen to this stuff. I absolutely love it. And so I saw this, the True album, and thought, yes, I'm going to have to get that as well. The strange thing about this, though, because what I usually do is if I can't, obviously I can't listen to these in the car, so what I usually do is, you know, find them and add them to my streaming platform, because I only stream music that I have physically bought. Maybe you should all try that, look, boys and girls, because that way I know the artist has been properly paid. Streaming is theft. That's the way it is. Oddly, I couldn't find this on my regular streaming platform, so I'm going to have a little bit of a further investigation. I might actually have to rip, when I've got my deck working, I might actually have to rip this, you know, old school style, put the needle on and record it. We'll see. So yes, this is obviously, I don't know much Spandau Ballet beyond their greatest hits. This has got gold on it and it's got True on it, so I thought that's good enough for me, and it's going to have some amazingly well written, brilliantly done pop music on it as well. So that's what we got that for. Okay, into the new stuff. I have to give a plug here. You're going to see the Tall Bird Record Shop logo there, because this is where I bought this from. This is my local record shop here in Chesterfield, so a shout out to those. This, I'm going to open it for you, because I can say I haven't had the chance to fire it up because my deck is broke. So let me just break into this, because this is the coloured version, the coloured vinyl version of Mark Knopfler's brand new One Deep River album. So I'm really excited that this is here. I'm a bit gutted that and at the same time he was releasing this, he sort of went on record many times saying he's not going to go on the road. I wasn't massively surprised by that decision, because he had said on his previous tour, you know, dates in Europe, dates in America and stuff, he was saying on stage, you know, he feels like this might be his last tour, and he's getting a bit too long in the tooth for that kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. I was hopeful he was still going to give us some UK dates, because when he got to the Royal Albert Hall, he kind of changed what he said to, you know, rather than saying, no, I'm not doing any more tour dates, he just sort of started saying things like, well, you know, maybe I'm getting a bit old for all this touring business. And I sort of took that to mean that, you know, he might just do like a residency at the Royal Albert Hall. Who knows? But anyway, he has said he's not going to play live at all. So I'm devastated about that, to be honest. Look at this. So this is actually the second disc. This is disc C and D. And that, as you can see, is very blue. And we've got the lyric sheet as well. You don't get this with downloads, do you? Oh no, it is blue. So disc A and B is blue also. So when I do finally get my deck fixed, I'm very much looking forward to giving that a spin. He did say he was not touring. He didn't say he wasn't touring because, you know, he feels too old for it. Obviously, there's ways, you know, if he was feeling that way, there are ways of touring, especially when you've got plenty of money. There's ways of touring, I'm going to sort that out later, that don't involve too much physicality, and Knopfler's never really been a kind of duck-walking artist, has he? He did say he was not going to stop. He was going to stop touring because he wanted to concentrate on getting his guitar playing chops back up to speed. And it can't be said, no, it must be said, it can't be denied, really, that since the release of his first solo album, Golden Heart, to sort of this sort of, his guitar playing has really, I wouldn't say it's gone down in quality, but it's certainly gone down in quantity. You know, we've had less and less and less guitar solos, more sort of guitar colour added. You know, if you look at his first solo album, Golden Heart, and look at songs like, you know, Imelda and Are We in Trouble Now and Rudiger and things like that, they have got here is a guitar solo moment, which very few of his more recent solo albums have. So I would agree that he's not gone off the boil with his guitar playing, because he's always been a very lyrical, very minimalist kind of guitarist to a point. But certainly I would think, yeah, I would love to hear more Knopfler soloing. So there you go. Right, my last brand new purchase and my segue into Record Store Day and maintaining the Mark Knopfler theme is The Boy EP. This was one that this was kind of not offcuts from the One Deep River album, but apparently he'd noticed some songs on the One Deep River album that sounded more like a story together. And that's what this is all about. And again, I haven't had the chance to dive into this, so I'm going to open it for you now. But this was the only purchase I made for 2024 Record Store Day. Like I said earlier, I wanted to buy the Queen single, but that had gone. Is this also a nice colourful vinyl? It's not as high quality. Oh, well, look, we do have another lyric sheet there. So that's lovely. Put that to one side, and I'll pop all those away when I'm not on camera, making myself look foolish by trying to get all that stuff in there. Here is the disc. No, it's just a standard black vinyl, but very, very nice. It is too. So yeah, we've got these 4 tracks, which is kind of like a concept of, you know, fairground boxing sort of thing. Like I say, I haven't dived very far into it yet, but I will do it. So that's my Record Store Day purchase. Which brings me to Record Store Day. Now, I've made quite a few purchases at Record Store Day over the years. I tend to try to lean my record store purchases towards stuff that you wouldn't normally get. You know, a lot of sort of detractors of Record Store Day are like, oh, well, you're just paying over the odds for something you've already got. And sometimes some bands do that. They're like, oh, you know that album that you've already got? Well, here it is again, but we've put a blue sticker on it for Record Store Day. Stuff like that. You do get some of that. But you do also get some stuff that you would otherwise not have got. And that's what I tend to aim my purchases at. And that's not to say that I go, oh, Record Store Day, I must buy something, because I don't. Because sometimes I do look at the list and go, well, nope, there's nothing on there that I want. But I do like that whole queuing up, meeting fellow record nerds, meeting fellow musician geeky people and having that crack. And I just enjoy that camaraderie, that shared experience of music, which is, you know, one of the things I love about being a musician. So to that end, because I don't go nuts, because I don't buy a lot, because it's a very expensive hobby, buying vinyl, buying new vinyl. I can generally only buy 2, maybe 3 new vinyls a month. But I don't drink expensive coffees. I don't smoke. I don't go out boozing on a Saturday night. So I think, you know, it's pretty much that and guitars are my only vices. They are expensive vices. But anyway, so these are the ones that I've pulled out. There might be more in the archive, but these are the ones that I looked at and gone, yes, I bought that on Record Store Day. Starting with The Cadillac 3, live at Abbey Road. I can't remember where I discovered Cadillac 3. But they are brilliant. They are a sort of bluegrass rock band, very similar to Larkin Poe, which I did a little thing for in L on the Vinyl Corner a few months ago. But this is live at Abbey Road. The thing I love about Cadillac 3 is they're one of those we don't have a bass player bands. They've got a guy on guitar, a guy on lap steel, pedal steel, and a guy on drums. And this is live at Abbey Road. So we've got, on the first half, we've got Peace, Love and Dixie, Graffiti and White Lightning. And on the B side, we've got Running Red Lights and The South. I would have loved I'm Southern on there, but it's not. So hey ho. And again, just to be irritating, I haven't managed to spin this because I didn't realise till I got home that my deck doesn't support different speeds. Because as you can see, it's not a 12-inch. So I'm still on the lookout. Dare I suggest that I might buy a second deck to play 7 inches and singles and stuff at different speeds? Oh, that would be very silly of me to say that out loud, wouldn't it? Pink Floyd. Can't not do any vinyl stuff without talking about Pink Floyd. This is Interstellar Overdrive from 1966. This is, I mean, my love and adoration of Pink Floyd is well documented on my page. It's a one-side vinyl. I don't know if you can see that there, but there's nothing on that side. So this is literally just Interstellar Overdrive. It's in mono, and it was recorded in 1966. The track is presumed to have been recorded at the Thompson Recording Studio, Hemel Hempstead, on the 31st of October 1966, and is previously unreleased. Now, you know, obviously I adore Pink Floyd. My love of that era, that Barrett era of Pink Floyd, is not as much, but I appreciate it for what it is. Really glad that I've got it. This was last year's Record Store Day purchase. We had Billy Joel live at the Great American Music Hall. I have spoken about this previously on a previous vlog, a previous Vinyl Corner, so I'm not going to go too much into this. Suffice to say, this is a really cool recording from Billy Joel, and I really, really enjoy it. It's really a lot of early stuff, and that era, Elton John did a similar release where it's just like him and his core band just playing these early, almost album tracks. So it's really, really cool. I love Billy Joel to this day. I really, really do. So I'm pleased with that. This as well, I adore this. I mean, Jeff Buckley, bless his heart, didn't live long enough to give us anything other than one album. The Grace album is one of the best debuts ever. It's an absolute tragedy that we didn't get more from Jeff Buckley. What we did get, though, was this recording. Now, originally, during Jeff Buckley's lifetime, this was released prior to Grace as an EP with only 4 tracks. It was then, after his death, it was released expanded. I still don't think it's like a full concert. I think it's, you know, a set culled from several afternoon performances at Chennai. But it's always been my go-to favourite Jeff Buckley release. And when it was released on vinyl, in a box set, in a box, all beautiful and lovely, there was no two ways about it. And I do remember queuing up for this one and being really worried that they weren't going to have one. I was really like, no, I really do want to have this. So there's 4 discs. They are just plain black vinyl discs, but there's 4 of them. It's the whole Chennai album, and we've got some lovely, it's very tastefully done, very little sort of photography and video from that era really of Jeff Buckley, because he wasn't really signed while he was playing Chennai. So yeah, it's a great release. I love Jeff Buckley, always have. Beyond, I mean, most sort of the vast majority of the public sort of know Jeff Buckley from Hallelujah only, and that's a real shame because he was so much more than that. He was an amazing artist. If you do nothing else, you should listen to Lover You Should Have Come Over as one of the best pieces of his own original music. But there we go. So those are my record store day purchases. Like I said, I don't have a lot. I don't go nuts, but I do partake in record store day. Which brings us to the alphabet pull from my archive. So I just go through my archive and I pull out one or two artists or albums that I've always enjoyed. This month we have hit M, and I have chosen the group My Baby. Now, My Baby are a band from Amsterdam. They feature brother and sister Kato van Dijk Kato's on vocals, bass and violin. Her brother Joost, who is on drums, and then New Zealand guitarist Daniel de Vries Johnson. I first came across My Baby when they were promoting the Shamanade album, which is their second album. They supported C6 Steve on his tour when I went to see them. And I went to see them at Sheffield O2 Academy, Apollo, whatever it's called. It used to be Roxy Music, but anyway. And they blew him off the stage. C6 Steve was not on good form that night, I think it's fair to say. But My Baby were absolutely fantastic. So it was like, oh, we need to see more of this band. So we've then seen them, oh my God, probably another 10 times. We've seen them in tiny little pubs with, 5 other people there, and we've seen them now. They've grown to a stage where they're playing, big not big venues, but a couple of maybe 1,000 people, 1,500 people venues, and their sound has sort of developed from this rootsy, bluesy, folky, acoustic sound to this mental trance. I've just dropped an E, club sound, to the point where their last album was a little bit I didn't enjoy it very much, and I haven't got it, but the first couple of albums are absolutely great. So we've got My Baby Loves Voodoo, Shamanade. In fact, let me tell you, so the things on this, we've got my favourites on here. You've got No Depression is great, Mad Mountain Time is great, Out on Gin, one of my favourites. Singing in Chains is also great. Quite a little bit Amy Winehousey, actually, some of this stuff. Shamanade, their second album. Seeing Red, great album. This is like a classic. If there was a classic album for My Baby, it would be Shamanade. Hidden from Time. 6x2 is a great one. Uprising is another brilliant one. So there's a really good stuff on here. Their next album was Prehistoric Rhythm, which is this one. And again, I think they sort of made Shamanade 2 with this one. But we've got, what I love about this one is like Love Dance, Cosmic Radio, Make 100, stuff like that. Some really good stuff on there. Their most recent album that I've bought is the Munakai. I think that's Munaki by the Bright of Night album. Great, I love this one. We went to see them in London when they did this one. The title track of this, By the Bright of Night, Munakai. For a change, Supernatural Aid, brilliant song in the club. All of these, so yeah, really enjoyed that. They also, over COVID, I remember we sort of waited and met them and we were like, when's the live album coming out? And they've yet to release a bona fide live album because they're amazing live. But what they did do over COVID was they released a live album in that it was just the 3 of them in the studio playing tracks off these live. And that's a great... I haven't got that one on vinyl, which I'm quite annoyed about now that I'm realising it. So I'm going to have to keep an eye out for that one. Their new album, Sake, 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 is not one that I really, really liked. But that's it. You can't have them all, can you? So there you go. So that's My Baby is my choice from M. So that's it, boys and girls. I hope you've enjoyed this little waffle through my vinyl. May might be a little bit less. I've been on the road quite a lot with my eclectic, acoustic, folky artist alter ego, The Breaded Churchman. I've been up and down the country, so buying vinyl has been a little bit limited. I do have one on the pile, though, already, and I'm making plans to buy another one. So there will be something, but it might not be as much. Please don't forget to like and comment. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Help me grow my online business, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.